Welcome to The Explainer. Okay, today we're tackling what's gotta be the most infamous, highly debated, and frankly notorious point of confusion in all of global sports. That's right, we're looking at football rule number 2, the offside rule. It's that one rule that can turn absolute euphoria into sudden heartbreak in the literal blink of an eye. So if you've ever felt completely lost trying to figure out why a seemingly perfect goal was waved off, you are in exactly the right place. Picture this scenario. Your favorite team's on the attack. The ball is beautifully threaded right through the defense, your star striker smashes it into the back of the net, and you leap off your couch in celebration. But then, you hear it. The referee blows the whistle. You look at the sideline, and the assistant referee has their flag raised straight up in the air. The players start arguing, the crowd is utterly confused, and the commentators immediately start drawing lines on the replay like they're trying to solve a murder mystery. It's incredibly frustrating, isn't it? If you felt that sudden sting of a canceled wonder goal, trust me, it is a truly universal experience for football fans everywhere. Because the reality is, offside is totally the most debated and misunderstood rule out there. It has a reputation for being overly technical, but honestly, the mechanics are actually beautifully simple. By the end of this explainer, you're going to understand those mechanics perfectly, and you'll be able to spot an offside offense just as well as the pros do. Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our game plan. We're going to look at why the rule exists, the basic rule itself, timing and active play, exceptions to the rule, and finally, VAR and common mistakes. Let's get right to it. Section 1. Why does offside actually exist? Understanding the origin and the why behind this rule is absolutely vital. Imagine a game without it for a second. Attackers could gain a massive, totally unfair advantage simply by waiting near the opponent's goal. A striker could literally just go stand right next to the opponent's goalkeeper for the entire 90-minute match, completely bypassing the midfield, and just wait for a giant pass to be booted down the field for an easy tap-in. We call that goal hanging, and let's be real, it makes matches totally unfair and way less competitive. By forcing the attackers to stand in front of the defense, the rule demands teamwork. It encourages complex passing, dynamic movement, and deep tactical play. It's the very thing that makes football such a beautiful strategic game. Moving on to Section 2, the basic offside rule. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that it tackles the single biggest misconception fans have about the rule. A lot of people think the goalkeeper is always considered the last defender, and that you just can't be behind the final outfield player. But wait, the actual rulebook doesn't say that at all. It specifically talks about the second last opponent. Let me explain how that works. Usually, the goalkeeper is the last opponent on the pitch. That makes the furthest defender back the second last opponent. But what if the goalkeeper were to rush way out of the penalty box past his own defenders? Well, then a regular defender would become the last opponent, and another defender would become the second last. The rule is strictly tied to that second last opponent, whoever it happens to be in that moment. So to physically be in an offside position, a player has to meet these 3 geographical steps simultaneously. Number 1, they gotta be in the opponent's half of the pitch. You literally cannot be offside in your own half. Number 2, they must be nearer to the opponent's goal line than the ball itself. And number 3, they have to be nearer to the goal line than that crucial second-last opponent we just talked about. If all 3 of those check out, boom, the player is in an offside position. But, and here's the secret, just standing in that position isn't automatically an offense. Hold that thought. Which brings us to Section 3, timing and active play. Let's compare 2 totally distinct scenarios here. In the first one, imagine a striker is already standing entirely behind all the defenders. A teammate passes the ball forward, the striker receives it and moves toward the goal. Because the striker was already ahead of the second last opponent at the exact moment the pass was made, the flag goes up, offside, no doubt about it. Now look at the second scenario. The striker starts their run from behind the defenders. At the exact millisecond the pass is kicked by their teammate, the striker is perfectly level with the second last defender. A split second later, the striker sprints past everyone, receives the ball, and scores. This is not offside. Why? Because their position is judged purely on when the pass was made, not when they eventually received it. So the crucial point is this. Timing is everything. It is the absolute golden rule of offside. The referee is essentially taking a mental photograph of the pitch at the exact fraction of a second the ball is kicked by the passing teammate. Whatever the attacker's position is in that single frozen snapshot in time, that dictates everything about the play. But remember earlier when I said just standing in an offside position isn't a crime? A player is only penalized if they become involved in active play. Basically, they have to either interfere with the play directly, interfere with an opponent's ability to play the ball, or gain some tangible advantage for hanging out in that position. If a player is just standing offside, way out on the wing, totally disconnected from the action, and they never touch the ball or block a defender's vision, the referee is completely within their rights to just let the game continue. The offense is all in the action, not just the location. All right, Section 4, Exceptions to the Rule. Did you know a player cannot be called offside if they receive the ball directly from a goal kick, a corner kick, or a throw-in? These are massive exceptions. Like if the goalkeeper is booting a massive goal kick down the field, a striker can stand as far behind the defensive line as they want. The same goes for receiving a ball straight from a teammate's hands on a throw-in. These exceptions are incredibly important for tactical play, and honestly, they very often surprise new football fans who sit there wondering why the flag didn't go up.
Finally, Section 5, VAR and Common Mistakes.
Enter VAR, which stands for Video Assistant Referee. Whenever a goal is scored today, VAR is working in the background to review the play and rigorously check whether the attacker was offside. They use this incredibly sophisticated camera technology to draw virtual, perfectly calibrated lines across the pitch on monitors. These lines allow officials to determine offsides down to unbelievably small margins that are quite literally impossible for the human eye of an assistant referee to catch in real time. It's made decisions vastly more mathematically accurate, but as we all know, it has also become intensely controversial. And just look at this number. This represents the margin of error we are dealing with today in centimeters: 0. Some of the most famous football matches recently have been completely rocked by offside controversies where gorgeous goals were disallowed by literally just a few centimeters. We're talking a shoulder leaning too far forward or just the tip of a boot. The fans celebrate wildly, the players do a massive celebratory slide into the corner flag, and then VAR checks the play. The goal is canceled. It creates huge debates, massive heartbreak, and intense discussions among fans worldwide, purely because of these microscopic margins. Let's move to this next slide and see how this builds a complete picture by dismantling some common myths one by one. Myth 1. Being ahead of defenders is always offside. False. As we just learned, if you time your run so you're level when the pass is actually kicked, you can sprint ahead freely. Myth 2. Every forward pass can be offside. Also false. We just saw that throw-ins, corner kicks, and goal kicks are entirely exempt. Myth 3. A player is offside if they receive the ball in huge open space. False again. The space around them doesn't matter. It's 100% about where you were standing when your teammate originally played the pass, not where you actually collect the ball. So, the offside rule might seem dense at first glance, but at its core, its sole purpose is incredibly simple: to keep the beautiful game fair, competitive, and strategic. It prevents lazy goal hanging and demands brilliant timing and teamwork. So, I leave you with this provocative thought as we wrap up our explainer today. Now that you truly understand the mechanics, the timing, and those crazy microscopic margins involved, the next time you're watching a match and that flag goes up, canceling your team's spectacular goal, will you actually agree with the referee this weekend? Keep your eyes on that second-last defender, watch the exact timing of the pass, and see for yourself. Keep learning and enjoy the match.